Huh?
My mind is made up. You have my full support.
Hey, did you guys... hear something?
You're having a laugh. You think this is going to make it all better, do you?
Well, I will bear full responsibility. Otherwise, well, there is no otherwise.
What are you two bickering about?
Your Majesty, what a welcome sight to see you return.
Has a problem arisen in my absence?
No, just a trifling matter, really.
Actually, we do have a bit of a problem on our hands, Your Majesty.
Hey, mind your...
We have to report the facts as they are. How much longer are you going to leave this hanging, eh?
What's the problem?
A couple of days ago, we had a small run-in with our Agnian opposites. Isel took care of them, but things got out of hand a little bit.
Out of hand, nothing. They insulted Her Majesty's honor. I'm spitting feathers.
But we'd no reason to fight. You were the one who earned their ire.
Did they come to any harm? You hurt them?
I only intended to scare them, but then they resisted.
So you sought to defeat them?
No! Nothing of the sort. They had no flame clocks, so I would never...
The presence of a flame clock is not what instigates a battle. The glimmerings of war are always there, within us. I imagine discovering that fact must have come as quite a shock to you.
Circumstances aside, if you've incited their wrath, then I assume we haven't heard the end of this.
As you say, they have since begun to rally together in opposition.
I am ashamed. Truly ashamed. Now that this has come to a head, I cannot but take full responsibility. I will thwart their objective, even if it should cost me my life.
You shall not. Do not speak of throwing your life away so lightly. I've already lost so many of my friends. I could not bear to lose another.
Your Majesty.
I told you, did I not? You are my hope. I will speak to the Agnian Chief Retainer personally about the matter. In the meantime, any more unfinished business that I should know about?
Couple of house calls to make, Your Majesty. They want you at Colony 9 and the city.
Colony 9? So Xeon then?
Indeed. They've asked for some urgent backup following the recent Origin attack.
And the other request is from Monica. Wants you to give her people a pep talk.
The descendants of Ouroboros. I've caused such grief for them. And for an unfathomably long time.
But now they get to speak to their real queen. I'm sure they'll be overjoyed.
Yes, perhaps. Speaking face to face with another. There's nothing quite like it.
Melia?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to be taking up some more of your time.
Now you can cut that out. Agnes or Kevus, soldier or queen. What difference does it make?
The future is to be created by each and every person in the world. I think you were the one who taught us that.
True enough. Your unyielding spirit gives me the strength to go on.
Sometimes when Melia smiles, I see sadness in her eyes, as if she's all alone in the world.
Well, better start making the rounds. We've got to stop by Colony 9, the city, and...
Agnes Castle, right?
Safe journey to you all.
imagine the look on Monica's face when she sees you.
Time for a little rest.
Senna, that isn't something to be excited about.
Your Majesty.
Sorry to bother you. I'm sure you're rushed enough as it is. I'm here to discuss the speech you mentioned. Did I come at a bad time?
No, not at all. We've been stretching our necks every day, waiting to see if you'd turn up.
I too have been anxious to meet you. I'm sorry to have been a source of anguish for you this long.
It's all been for today. I don't consider any of it a waste. Now, on to the matter at hand. Rallying the troops. With the final battle with Mobius looming before us, we're doing our best to prepare. But we need more than just supplies. A battle to determine the fate of the world is hardly a light topic. Everyone's beside themselves with worry. Some poor souls have completely snapped. We're never gonna last in actual combat at this rate.
I don't blame them. No matter how noble our cause, the fighting will cost us lives. We're caught between the future we desire and the present, which is ours to lose. It's a place beset on all sides by fear.
You got that right. Especially when there's no guarantee you're going to be coming home.
Even a brief address would do, just as long as you speak to them somehow.
I understand. I don't know if I'll be able to get through to them, but I will try.
We'll be your guides while in the city. Make sure you don't lose your bearings.
That would be most appreciated. While we're here, would it bother you if I took a look around the city itself?
Please, be my guest. I think we'd all like that.
Maybe we could take her to Centrillo Parade. There's plenty of people around there.
No objections from me, but there are some rather, shall we say, ardent followers of the Queen up that way. If they get too insistent, you might need to give them a friendly nudge.
Oh yeah? All right, we'll keep a lookout.
Now this is a far cry from the colonies and the castles. Here is a place where people can truly live, make a home.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I first saw this place. All these different people I'd never seen before. Things of all shapes and sizes.
I wish I had been there to see your reaction. A shame.
See my mouth hanging open like a lummox. Not worth it.
You seem to take it all in your stride. None of this surprises you.
It's more that I'm assailed by old memories. Technologies of old are put into practice here. I feel the industry of those times. Huh?
Is that really you? Queen Melia?
Yes. I do go by that name.
I knew it! I knew it from the moment I laid eyes on you. You were something special.
Finally caught up. Hey, old man, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack.
Well, thanks for your concern, but I'll decide when and how I'm going to pop my clogs. I've lived my whole life in this day. Heck, you all have, haven't you?
Of course we have.
You've returned to us at last, my queen. You really are as radiant as they say.
Hey, fancy a bite? You should come by my restaurant. Sample a few of the local dishes.
Nobody wants to see your seedy little bistro. She wants something memorable.
Oh, say that again, I dare you. If you hate my establishment so much, I'll be more than happy to bar you from it permanently.
All right, people. Don't shove. And stop arguing. We don't want to scare the Queen now.
Oh! My days! Crichton!
Come on now, this is getting excessive.
Oh, leave him. Everyone's been living for this moment.
It's always been my dream to see the true Queen come back to us. A lot of us die before we get the chance.
Yeah, but now it's actually happening. Before our very eyes. How can we possibly keep calm when a miracle is unfolding?
I am so grateful to you all, my people. I would like to express a few words of gratitude, if I may. It is a joy to see real human activity once again, after all these years. I see that you continue to remain strong.
Of course we do. Got to protect what we love, right?
That's right. I'm not resting these old bones so long as there's life in them.
We'll hold out for decades more if we have to.
We have our Queen. And even Ouroboros stand by her side.
With their strength behind us, Mobius won't stand a chance. Looks like that takes care of that.
Indeed.
Wow, decades plural. And here we are, happy enough if we can reach one.
The way I see it, you lot are far more incredible. You've achieved so much in so little time.
Huh? That's only natural, ain't it? Gotta get stuff done in the time you have. No way I could imagine having to fight for 40 or 50 years. Feels so snuffing far away.
Uni.
By the by, I'm not seeing the story spinner anywhere.
Story spinner?
Who knows more about the city than anyone. He's like a walking encyclopedia.
Real curious bloke. Normally he'd jump at an opportunity like this.
Well, he's no spring turkin, though. If he hears he's missed his chance to meet Her Majesty, he might drop dead from the shock.
Heavens! Where might we find this person? I think we should pay him a visit.
What, really?
I'll bet it'd make his day. But are you sure?
I would like to try to meet him, if at all possible.
As you wish. It's your call.
You'll probably find him at Mittia Lookout. I hear it's one of his favorite spots.
A walking encyclopedia, is he? Then we can expect an enlightening conversation.
What conversation are you expecting? Sorry, Melia. I had no idea they'd be making such a fuss over this.
It's quite all right. Life is full of surprises after all.
Oh, what's all the fuss? Whose funeral is it this time?
Nobody's, I should hope. We were just wondering if...
Oh, old Melly. Well, this can't be real, so somebody pinch me. What if it's actually my funeral? Then that would mean... Where the places have I ended up?
Yeah, this is Mitya Lookout in the city.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. I'm told you have quite the wisdom. I was hoping to ask you a few things, if it doesn't bother you.
Oh, I get ya. The Queen herself is asking me personally to tell her a story. Now I know I'm dreaming. Hey, Ouroboros kids, give me a good wallop here, right on the kisser.
Sure thing.
Have you gone quite mad?
Lance? I didn't throw my weight into it.
Let's all calm down for a second and just talk sensibly, please.
Oh, I see. A rousing speech for the city, eh? What a stroke of luck. Even after that battering, I know I'll be content in the afterlife.
Oh, don't start. You were the one who asked us to.
Well, it seems life's worth living a little while longer. Don't want to disappoint old Queenie now, do I? Go on then, ask away.
I've been wondering, when you first saw Melia, I kinda got the impression you knew more about her than you let on.
Of course I do. Have you seen the stacks of literature they've got here in the city? Packed to the rafters. There's passages on the true Queen, too. And you betcha these eyes have read them all back to front 20 times over.
So you know all about her?
Naturally, naturally. Here, I'll give you an example. It is a lesser-known fact that Her Majesty is squeamish around shiny bugs.
What? How can you possibly know that?
There was also a little morsel about how she found rainbow bugs particularly revolting. They're extinct now, but I reckon they're beasties about the size of your fist, whose bodily excretions make them glow and...
All right, enough. You don't need to go into such detail. The mere memory gives me goosebumps.
Oh, don't you worry. I've got plenty more tidbits like that up my sleeve.
We don't want to hear it. Look, I'll tell you what I want to know.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm all ears.
When you get to the age you are, after living for so many decades, you must have had to say goodbye to so many of your friends. Must be a lot of crap to deal with. So, how do you cope?
The pits is what it is. There are times when I wonder why I don't just curl up and die. But see, life ain't all sunshine and roses. I think that's part and parcel of it.
So what, you just have to go on living in misery? You've got to be joking.
Uni, are you all right?
I just want to know what it's all about. Growing old. There's folk out there who get to live so much longer than us, and they still choose to fight. It just feels like I'm always taking a back seat. Like I'm getting left behind. But I want to be there with you guys. Even if it's just in spirit.
Uni, I had no idea that was how you felt.
Yeah, sorry. Hard to put it into words, really.
Even if those you once loved are no longer a part of this world, lonely as it is, and painful though the memories be, it is not wholly a tragic tale. For you can keep close to your heart your memories of those dear to you. And that is something to take pride in. That is what will give you strength. Admittedly, my life took a very different path to the likes of my companions here. But such are my thoughts.
Ah, never a truer word was spoken. That's one for the ages. Where's my notepad?
The fact that you're worrying about us here and now, Uni, I don't think we'll ever forget that. Your feelings will transcend time.
I'd have to agree. So don't feel like you need to be doing anything special for us, Uni. It's reassuring enough just being the way you are.
Don't suppose you've got any tissues on you? Spark, why'd you have to go and make it all soppy?
Nobody is leaving you behind, Uni. If you ever feel distance between you, you need only speak out.
Wait, was this all just to tell me that?
That's about the size of it. Good luck out there, young'uns.
Don't just pass it off as your own speech.
Say, Melly, would you mind if we shook hands?
He's straight up ignoring me.
I don't see why not.
Oh, you angel. Now I can shuffle off this mortal coil without regrets.
Knowledgeable my arse.
Life's a cruel journey from one end to the other. You only get one chance to walk it. But if there's one thing that gives it all meaning, it's love.
That's very sweet.
That ain't something I have to teach you young folks. Your friends are lucky fellows.
Monica said something like that too. Still doesn't make much sense to me though.
Well, love takes many forms. There are as many ways to show it as there are people.
I'll remember that. Thanks.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we should probably be getting on. Till we meet again, story spinner.
Indeed, indeed. Safe travels to you, Your Majesty.
Always nice to have more friends.
A diplomatic mission. Surely we can find a peaceful resolution. Nia, this is a surprise.
Don't worry, I know the whole story. Oh, bloody hell! I see you are in good company.
They're kindly serving as my bodyguard. They're assisting me with a number of other matters too.
The assistance goes both ways, actually.
We all one big, happy family!
Yes, that's right. Family.
Indubitably. I have a rough grasp of our present predicament. You've come to hear their side of the story, have you not?
You make it sound as if these are no ordinary Agnians.
With Queen Melia's assistance, we have been closely monitoring them on both sides. I'll get to the point. These people belong neither to Keves nor Agnes.
To be precise, they were formerly Agnian soldiers, but now they claim to have lost their faith even in Agnes. This intense distrust of the future has driven them to wanton destruction.
So they stopped believing in anything, and now they just want to ruin things for everyone. That's awful.
The Keves and Agnes of today are founded upon mutual trust and respect. At least that is the mood we try to foster. But the reality is that not all of us can readily accept these changes.
The recent outburst was just an act of passion. But if like-minded people were to congregate...
They may gain enough momentum to pose a legitimate threat, is that it? So they're the ones who have incited the latest uproar, I take it.
We might have to prepare for the worst-case scenario.
Minanabite, what make worst case so bad?
He means there could be an attack on the Queen's life.
That worse than worst case?
That's one of the reasons. But we simply can't afford to leave this be. I don't believe they truly want to oppose us. Rather, they feel they are at an impasse. One cannot so easily change their way of life or how they view the world.
Perhaps I ought to assert my authority as queen after all, and...
No. If you lock horns with them now, it's very possible they will shut you out completely. I would rather have you prepare to welcome them in with open arms.
That's incredibly kind of you.
So, where do we find these troublemakers?
It seems they're lying low at Hovering Reef 6.
Seriously? That's right next to the castle.
Presumably they approached under the guise of their fellow Agnian soldiers. The castle isn't on particularly high alert, so it makes sense that they wouldn't arouse too much suspicion.
Yes, as sad as it is. I hear they're pooling their forces. You'd best be on your guard.
Fear not. I am no stranger to battle. And besides, look at my entourage.
You shouldn't have to get used to this. Experience can make a person stronger, it's true, but it can't take away one's pain. That goes for queens too, you know.
The mood's turned dark all of a sudden.
I'm aware of that. Thank you, Nia.
Take care, you guys.
I hope everyone's getting along.
So even Agnes's elite haven't been able to penetrate this vastness?
I must commend Colony 11 for their tremendous achievements. In truth, I feel somewhat intimidated.
Here we go!
This is something decent, right? Whoa! Whoa, what's with that one?
Not to worry, just stick to the plan.
Don't do anything stupid, Melia.
Nor should you, Lance.
Yippee!
Agnian Autolevs. They've hauled those things out here. Can't catch a break, can we?
As Lady Nia informed us, we should expect them to be hiding in an ambush somewhere on this island. I must remind you that we are only here to negotiate. If possible, I would like to avoid combat.
Sure, but what if they're the ones to come at us first?
Then suppress them at once. We could even disable their levnesses, so that they have nothing with which to fight back.
Hey, I've been meaning to ask for a while now. You really know how to handle yourself in a scrap, don't you?
Yes. I'm no stranger to the field of battle. Nor is this the first attempt on my life.
What? Even though you're the queen?
Precisely because I am the queen. Is it really so strange for nobles to be acquainted with violence? There was even an assassin within my family once.
I'm sorry. I hope we didn't bring back painful memories for you.
Please, it's perfectly fine. Many are the things that have shaped me into who I am today. Learning to accept my weaknesses, understanding each other's differences, opening one's heart to others.
You must have been in some real good company to learn all that.
Perhaps, yes. Back when I was young and naive, my companions taught me some invaluable lessons.
And you took those lessons to heart. That's how you came to be such a magnificent queen.
Though times may change, their teachings will never fade. Which is why I still believe. I believe that our last breaths should not be those of despair.
Look over there.
Shall we deal with this?
Hello? Nobody at home?
Don't move!
Melia.
I'll handle this. My name is Melia Antiqua. I wish only to speak with you.
Speak with us? Rip us to shreds, more like, Queen of Keves.
You are the ringleader, are you? State your name.
And why should I tell you? The world I once knew is gone. They told us defeating Keves was the only way for us to be saved. It was the right thing to do, the just thing to do, and I believed it. Do you realize how many of my friends died in pursuit of that dream? You think I can just tell them, yeah, sorry guys, you died for nothing?
He's lost his cool. Maybe we should step in and deal with him. But Melia told us she'd handle this.
You ruined it! You joined forces with the Agnian Queen, and you drilled these notions into our heads! You take away our friends, then sully our reasons to live. My friends died that day, but you've killed them all over again!
And that's why you've decided to destroy everything!
That's right. We don't need a shitty world like this anyway.
Is that all?
I told you to stay where you are!
Melia!
Hey! What are you trying to pull?
I could ask you the same thing. Why do you hesitate? You could attack me right now.
Shut up!
You have no desire to destroy anything. You are simply trying to get by in a world where nothing makes sense anymore. And that's why I'm here.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
You didn't disappoint! Enemy's broken away from me!
If only I was stronger. Fire and ash! So that's how it is. That's how you look down at us.
Sorry?
I know all about you. You queens live longer than any of us could ever dream. You aren't like us, are you? That's how you can just sit on your thrones, toying with our lives like...
She is like us. If you hurt her, she feels pain. She bleeds all the same.
Mio.
That's why she came all this way to hear your story. She wants to know more about you. She wants to share her time with you.
Yeah, right. Our lives are like the blink of an eye to her ilk.
Just because she lives longer, it doesn't mean she's any different from you. We're all here, aren't we? We're all alive.
That's enough, Mio. I see now how you feel about all this.
Mate, have you been making that speech to the Kavesi officers too? Telling everyone that Melia is different to everyone else?
You bet I did. She's so far up herself it makes me sick.
If anyone's warped, distorted here, it's you.
Then what am I supposed to do? Who else am I supposed to take my rage out on? Tell me the truth, right now. The pure, unadulterated truth.
That I cannot tell you. The answer lies in you, and you alone. You must have realized by now. There is no weight to the truth of another, if you cannot judge it for yourself. If you must have an object of hatred in order to live your life, then let it be me. But promise me that someday you'll live for the things that truly have worth, just as you and your comrades in arms once did.
It's already too late. I can't go back. Not after what I've done.
I highly doubt that. You are still breathing, are you not?
Are you all right?
I told you. I am no stranger to battle. Besides, I could not tolerate simply watching from the sidelines.
Melia.
Their sadness, frustration, anger. I shall never forget these feelings. Come. Let us proceed to the next location.
Okay, buddy. Surprise me.
Xion's got to think bigger. There's a whole world out there.
It may be their similarities that make them prone to these altercations.
That'll leave a bruise. Be more gentle, Commander.
Don't expect miracles. I'm trying my best to heal you here.
Here, let me.
Thank you, miss. That would be great. What? You're...
That should suffice. Can you walk?
Yeah, I think so.
Queen Melia, to what do we owe the honor?
What good is a ruler if they cannot send aid to their people in times of need? I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, Xion. Please, Let me have your report.
Hey! Hey, look! Isn't that the Queen?
What? Like the real deal?
Right, back to my post. Excuse me. Origin's attack unfortunately caused a landslide near Alfeto Valley entrance. We've been treating the wounded, and also dispatched a survey team to scan the area. The thing is, we've lost contact with the survey team. The line just went dead.
There was a really loud sound earlier on. Could be more rocks.
I see. Then we'll take it from here. Uni, how are you doing over there?
I've healed up the worst of them. Now they just need a little R&R.
Oh, really? I've got to lie down?
Come on. If you've got the energy to flap your trap already, you'll be back on your feet in no time.
I see I had no cause to worry.
How many were on the survey team?
3. One was piloting the Levnis. Okay. I've sent the landslide's location to your iris. You can confirm it for yourself.
Got it.
If you happen to see an Anita from the survey team, could you, tell her to give back what she owes? Because I'll be waiting here until she does.
I'll be sure to deliver the message. I'm so sorry to have let this come to pass, everyone. This ordeal will be over ere long.
You watch yourself too, Your Majesty. Don't want to see you get hurt neither.
I hope you find our friends.
Always nice to have more friends.
You really love Colony 9, don't you, Uni? I can tell from the way your wings perk up.
Really? That's slightly uncomfortable.
Hey, look at that!
A survey branch Levnis.
Quickly! We must rescue them at once.
I hope everyone's getting along.
Hello? Who's... there?
It's all right. We're here to help. Stay still. I'll get that heavy thing off you right this instant.
Right, that's her injuries about treated.
You're a survivor by nature. Good fortune that we made it in time.
Oh, I can't thank you enough. I thought I was a goner.
Say, you wouldn't happen to be Anita by any chance?
Yeah, I'm Anita. Oh, that's great news. There was a guy in the rescue tent who was really worried about you. He said he wanted you to pay him back or something?
I suspect that was merely an excuse. He seemed really rather worried. Very insistent that you make it back.
Ah, it's got to be Kurt. We've been in the same unit since first term. He can be a little faint-hearted at times. I'd better go and try to calm him down.
Ah. So you've been joined at the hip since childhood?
Joined at the... sorry?
I mean that you were inseparable. You've had a special connection throughout your lives. You understand each other's feelings and you lift each other up in times of need, is what I'm trying to say. Your friends are irreplaceable. Be sure to treasure them.
Yes, Mom. Thank you. Thank you.
Does she have someone in mind herself? There's someone out there special to her. But then, she was imprisoned in Origin for so long. So maybe they're already...
I hope everyone's getting along.
Ah!
His foot's trapped. We'll need to move the rubble very carefully.
Using arts would be far too dangerous. In which case,
Someone call for heavy lifters?
Yeah. We'll clear this out in no time.
You're in safe hands now.
Yes. Thank you.
Hang in there just a little longer. We don't want to overlook anything.
Hold on. It's going to be okay. There was a second landslide. Don't mind me. Look for the others.
We're well aware. But firstly...
Feels warm.
Do not move from this spot. We're going to check the immediate area.
Yes. Of course.
Right. I think that's the lot of them accounted for.
I wouldn't relax just yet. The landslides have formed a sharp incline, in turn increasing the risk of loose rocks. I hardly need to state this, but the possibility of further landslides remains high.
Getting caught in another landslide would be undesirable. We must make some distance, and quickly. Back to Colony 9.
Oi, things are looking patchy.
The Queen has returned! Welcome back! We're glad to see you safe, Your Majesty!
We were at the site of the landslide, but the situation remains precarious. It is vital that we remove the remaining rocks upon the slope in the coming days. You shall have the castle's aid, of course. But your own assistance in this matter would also be most appreciated.
Oh, we'd be glad to help. Never want to have to go through this again.
But if we hadn't, we'd never have got to meet Queen Melia. I don't regret it, because I learned today that we weren't forsaken.
Forsaken?
The only time we normally ever get to meet Your Majesty is at the homecoming. We've been through so many bitter times, but we've never known you to help us. Not so directly.
You make a valid point. From this moment on, I will endeavor to the best of my ability to allay your fears.
You're too kind, Your Majesty.
Then, in the interest of allaying fears, there may be another matter I would like to discuss with you.
Oh yes? Speak up then.
I would like, from this moment on, to let the colony elect their commander, of their own volition. And I don't mean just for appointing a successor after death, or for the purposes of reform. If they make their voices known, then I think I would gladly relinquish my position as commander this second.
What?
What brought this on?
Then, you wish to formally step down?
Well, I was always the consul's favorite plaything. I was a mere pawn, dancing to his whims, enacting his orders. But in coming to terms with our new life, I began to realize the qualities needed in a commander are very different nowadays.
Please don't belittle yourself, Xeon. You've worked so hard to get where you are.
Believe me, I've thought about this long and hard. About who really fits the role of a commander. It must be someone we all look up to. Someone with whom we can share our path.
Xeon.
While I do not object to your logic, Xeon, I hope you realize that our role is in essence naught but a figurehead. What that figurehead represents, you can decide.
It's down to me.
A person is not shaped solely by their birthright or innate qualities. As long as you remain critical of who you are, whether you deserve the position or not has little relevance.
This crisis of conscience, You once experienced it as well, Your Majesty.
Of course. Everyone has their battles with self-doubt. How else does one grow as a person? If you remain true to yourself, then you have nothing to fear. In this rich tapestry of life, you must find the path that you are willing to weave.
I'll give it more thought, then.
Very good. I look forward to hearing your answer.
Melia must have had her share of hardship to talk about these things in such depth. If she's ever stuck in a rut, I wonder if we'll be able to console her in the same way. Would she even want that?
Penny for your thoughts, Noah.
No, it's nothing. We should get going. We've got some traveling ahead of us. I think we've done the rounds here. Let's head back to the castle.
Your Majesty! You've returned.
I trust it's been quiet in my absence.
Yes.
I see that you have calmed down.
Yes, I have realized. However fervent my loyalty, if I am ever the source of Her Highness's anguish, it does no good.
You think too deeply, Isel. 'Tis your mind's fiction.
Ah, I will rectify that.
I am sure you will.
How was your trip? And what of the world?
Mankind's follies. People never learn. Whatever the passage of fate may bring, we must never lose the spirit of defiance, lest we submit to injustice, as we once did.
Again, why does she look so sad?
My friends and I, we fought hard for all this. We staked our lives on this future. And if there's a chance to keep it that way, I too will be happy to sacrifice myself for this world.
Snuff that for a laugh. I hate that. You're the important one here.
Pardon?
It's true. It's something I noticed before. As befits a queen, you're always thinking about your subjects. But who thinks about what's best for you?
Seeing you suffer alone like this, none of us like it. It's too sad to think about. Losing you, that is. You're one of us.
Yeah, think about how much you always think of us. It's only fair if you let us do the same for you.
I am speechless.
Melia, you are needed in this world. But you weren't born solely for the world's sake.
That may be so. However,
If you permit me, I'll gladly lend you my strength. Not because you are our queen, but because we're travelers in the here and now. So we should live together.
I'm glad you're with us, Melia.
Fighting alongside you all is the best!
yes. You are right. How funny. Though wisdom is said to come with age, still you all seem to teach me so much. If some things elude my grasp, your words show me that there is more to life. They guide me when I run astray. Again. And again. How fortunate I am to have you.
Now that's more like it, girl.
Melia, thank you. Thank you for always having believed in us.
That's one thing I would never doubt. Now we embark on our quests to create the future.
Yes, it's ours.
I hope everyone's getting along.
It's good to keep a record.
Don't try to be a hero. Just be yourselves. Don't you think it's about time for a meal?
Just ask yourself, can we really afford not to do it? Please convey this to Dame Alex.
Look, I'm telling you, there's no way she'd agree.
You seem to be having fun. Mind if I join in on the pleasantries?
Huh? Dame Alex?
We can explain everything.
Don't trouble yourself, Chickadee. I'll hear it from him directly.
I want to hold a tech summit with Colony 30.
Continue?
I know you're reluctant. But now that we've been released from the Flame Clock, and the wall between Kevis and Agnes has crumbled, now's the perfect time to institute a tech exchange. If it's successful, it could even lead to stronger, more lasting peace.
You had problems with Colony 30 in the past?
We fought against them before, just once. But they absolutely wiped the floor with us. Never before or since has Dame Alex misread an enemy to that degree. The bitter aftertaste from that event has lingered for years, giving us all headaches.
Who's bitter at whom now? It doesn't sound half bad. Let's have a technology summit.
Really?
Dame Alex?
Kevis's Colony 30 stands at the forefront of technology. This is not a problem in the slightest. Truly, not even a speck of one.
Now we've done it.
Chickadee, contact Colony 30. Tell them I'm coming.
Yes, understood.
Gambert, we will rendezvous there. I'll bring results home. You'll see.
Of course, Mom. I'll depart on the double.
They've definitely got skills there, but this is you need to get so worked up.
Suppose I told you that Colony 30 was currently struggling with an urgent water shortage. What would you imagine?
Huh? Oh, I don't know. Burst water mains or something?
Or their spring dried up?
Incorrect. The right answer was big cleaning project at the colony.
Oh, you have got to be joking.
Regrettably, I am not. It really happened.
That does kind of sound like Valdi, though, huh?
There are also many Nopon living there. They tend to follow their own unique rules.
Precisely. They are unique, and therefore worth studying in greater depth. Knowing your opponent and preparing accordingly, that is the foundation of any battle.
Do you still consider Colony 30 your enemy then, Alexandria?
This isn't about enemies or allies. All I'm saying is that the side that gets careless loses.
So your strategy is outright distrust then?
What are you trying to say?
Hurt others first to avoid being hurt yourself. Do you think that's logical?
It's a matter of opinion.
And you're entitled to that. Say what you will, but they've got a good colony. Right. Fine, could we attend this technology summit of yours? We could help introduce you and Valdi, too.
Yes. I dare say with you by my side, they may be less guarded than otherwise. I suppose I may require your assistance.
I see some relations have changed.
I will not fail. I will not.
The grudge seems pretty deep. Seated.
Whoa! Whoa! This is all just so over the top!
Yes, though mainly your reaction.
Ah! Welcome, welcome. I've been waiting.
Hey, pal. How you doing?
Not too shabby, I suppose. Riku, Chief, Manana.
Friend Valdi! Manana missed friend!
Yeah, no need to be shy, Chief.
I envy you your energy levels, bud.
It has been a while. I'm glad to see you in high spirits.
Thank you. And yes, I'm pretty good. Who's this?
She's the commander from Colony Iota. You got the message, right?
Oh, you're Anti-Alexandria. Thanks for reaching out.
It's Alexandria, actually. It would honor me greatly if you'd remember.
Alexandria. A pleasure to meet you. I'm the commander of Colony 30, Valdi. This will be my first technology summit. I'm really excited about this.
I myself, not so much.
Hey now.
Really? You don't like Levinuses?
I don't, especially yours.
I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Then I hope that by the end of the day, you'll have learned to love them just as much as I do.
You're a credit to your colony, Commander. But don't you think you should be on your guard, even a little?
Why would I? We have no reason to fight.
You might be the only one who thinks that.
Obviously not. If I was, the others wouldn't have brought you.
You trust them, don't you?
Just as you do. Right, Alexandria?
Yes, of course.
All right, then. Let me show you around. There's lots of stuff on the ground, so you'll have to watch your step. I have nothing to hide from friends, but feel free to look around.
I see some relations have changed.
Valdi seems happy, doesn't he? I bet he doesn't get to show off like this very often.
I love it. Everywhere I turn, there's hard-working Nopon.
Oh, they're not working. They're just doing their own thing. They snooze when they're sleepy and eat when they're hungry. Sometimes they just wander off.
Still, they look quite busy. What might they be making?
So just listen to this. I've been thinking about it a while. We're looking into constructing a smaller, stronger Levinas.
focusing on 3 pillars: durability, serviceability, and ease of use. Actually, the whole premise of our work, like fixing things, might need rethinking. If you put too many features on one Leveless, then you need more time and parts, and it ends up costly and hard. Not to mention the handling, so to get out of the cycle.
All right, calm down now.
Huh? But I was calm.
I like this guy already. This new model sting.
Thank you. I'm happy you think so. Oh, hey, do you want to work with us? We've just been looking for team members for Bingo.
Bingo?
It's what I'm calling this new model. I was thinking about it, and when I figured it out, it was like, bingo. So we named it that.
Sounds great. I spend lots of time thinking about stuff too. So I'd love some hands-on experience to really improve and...
Gumbert?
By which, of course, I mean... Do you have any unit closer to completion?
Sure I do. I just made friends with one such unit recently, in fact.
What do you mean, friends?
I'll introduce you. She's in the hangar over there.
How many Levenesses does he have here? These are his friends.
Don't worry too much about it. This is Valdi we're talking about.
Ah, there she is.
What the?
Wait. Robo Buddy is a friendly.
Robo Buddy?
It's this little one's name.
Where'd you pick it up?
Oh, she was strolling about outside.
It must have been on patrol, dude. Did you have to go and drag it in?
It doesn't treat Kevesi as hostiles. Does it not even distinguish between Kevis and Agnes? But why would that be? Some error in the control circuits?
There's no errors here, and she's not broken.
You're conversant with Agnian technology?
No way. Well, I guess I dabble, but there's tons of stuff I don't understand there. That's why I started tinkering with those that I do. First, the question of how Agnian autolevs operate autonomously. I think it's mostly to do with ether signaling, but I figured if we could break it down, we might be able to transmit stuff back to them from our side as well. Anyway, I spent ages racking my brain about it, but if you look at stuff like friend or foe identification, it gets mixed up.
Wait, back up. Are you saying you can control it?
Well, it's not that precise, really. But at least we're friends now. Right?
Is this for real?
If they actually succeed at implementing this at scale...
Yeah. It would turn the rules of engagement right on their sparking head.
Valdi, what are you having RoboBuddy do?
Just moving and disposing of materials. It's still in the test phase, so we're keeping things simple.
And which section is in charge?
That would be the bingo guys. Why?
Why don't I ask you straight? Are you planning to use it as a weapon?
No flipping way. I would never. She's not for fighting. I made friends with her to stay friends with her.
Well, if that's the case, then it would seem you've missed your mark. Your friend seems to have other plans.
RoboBuddy, why?
No use debating it. Ready arms.
Come here! I got something for you! Thanks! Superstore! Enemy's broken away from me! Come here! I got something for you!
How thoughtful!
Enemy's broken away from me! Come here! I got something for you!
RoboBuddy.
Well, that makes things clear. Somebody within Colony 30 has been secretly misappropriating materials.
Misappropriating? What are you talking about?
Look at the Collectopedia card. You said the 3 pillars for your new Levnis were durability, serviceability, and ease of use. However, you'll notice that the materials RoboBuddy was collecting were waning lapis and venolium. A brittle rock and a highly scarce metal. What ought we to think about that?
Oh, you're right. This isn't what I asked for. But hang on, Alexandria. How did you know to check our Collectopedia cards?
I asked her to. I figured it might help. But it looks like I was right. Do you have any idea who the culprit might be?
Not at all. Maybe it's all just a big misunderstanding.
No, RoboBuddy clearly turned hostile and attacked us. Which is to say, it must have been under the control of someone other than Valdi.
But what were they after?
Might it have been to make a poison?
Poison?
Yes. Both of those materials contained certain toxic compounds. Of particular note is the lack of identifiable scent or flavor. When mixed in with food, they're nearly unnoticeable.
Well, someone's well-read.
Our consul had some shady hobbies, and he liked to talk.
So, what would happen if you swallowed it?
Depending on the concentration, dizziness, numbness, diarrhea, emesis, and in more severe cases...
Ugh. Enough!
Oh, fantastic! I managed to retrieve the logs. If we analyze them, we should be able to figure out where it came from. Is that okay?
A-okay by me. We gotta stop the baddies.
All right then. Sorry to use your friend like this.
Looks like the friendship part might have all been in my head. But thanks for thinking of it that way anyway.
Honestly, such carelessness.
Alexandria? You've been looking sad all this time. Is something the matter? Anything we could help with?
I'm used to all this, and I hate it.
Alex? Did you hear me?
It's nothing. You don't have to worry.
All right, analysis is complete. You can unpack the data whenever.
Good job, Gambert. Why don't you wait here? Commander, I trust I can leave my man with you?
Huh? I thought I'd be going with you.
But there may be other machines like RoboBuddy. You're the only one who can tell them apart. Let's tackle both threads simultaneously.
Yeah, okay. I'll stay in the colony this time then. Give RoboBuddy's boss my regards.
Tyon, what's your opinion on this?
It's mostly aligned with yours. There's something else going on here.
Oh, that's a rare one.
Quite a rare sight.
again, guys.
Is this like a rare thing?
Whoa, what's with that one?
Alex, are you okay? You're not looking too well.
It's nothing. I'm just thinking about the past.
This is where the logs run out. Let's search the surroundings.
No, hold on. Past there is...
I didn't for a minute dream you'd fall for the oldest trick in the book. Dear Ouroboros, how do we ever fear you?
I know that screech. It's the consul from Valdez!
So he's alive?
If I died so easily, I'd be a human. But as fortune has it, Hey! I'm still talking here!
I'm sorry. I couldn't care less. How primitive can you get? You didn't really think you'd fooled me.
No.
Ha!
I knew you for a craven, Alex. You were plainly going to secure the retreat.
Oh, so you do have two brains. Everything's going numb.
A very special liveness that was. Oh, it isn't fast acting, so relax. I formulated it for the water supply, you see.
You're after... Colony 30.
It doesn't matter so much where. The important thing is the water. It will soon become the object of the most vicious raids!
You worm!
However, seeing that you're here, I might arrange a whole different playtime. We can create a tableau of your little act of betrayal. And see how you like it when you're the one being poisoned!
Act of betrayal?
Mother! Stop spewing your idiot lies!
Oh dear. You haven't told your friends then? Well then. I guess they're no friends of yours.
Too slow! Master Edict in a full lowdown already! This little mix has every ambition drilled her to kill her old commander! She brewed up a poison to make him weak, then staged it like he died in battle! Even better, she made her accomplices team leaders to shut them up! And they're still chumming it up today!
Alex.
He's telling the truth. I regret nothing. He wasted men and resources. Clung to outdated tactics. If his tyranny continued, Iota would surely have collapsed.
Oh, how grisly! How ghastly! Never knowing when one might die in one's sleep. Unable to trust your friends. Nay, I'd go so far as to say they lost their trust in you.
That's right. And so, I'm not asking you to trust me.
You roasted some cheap bait there. That's all I can.
Everyone's got some husks in their closet. And as for me, I'm choosing to trust you.
Oh, cut me! Right to the quick. In this game, to the crude get the spoils. Let me demonstrate in quick order!
Keep me going. Give it up!
this one!
I just thought of a great idea! Too right to pick mine. Allow me. I just thought of that up!
How about this? Above and beyond!
Any last words? Just give me the word. Too right, you pick mine. I can follow that up. Any last words? Gonna walk all over you. You know the drill.
You can count on me!
Alex!
I see a blind spot!
Let me go! You have to, or you'll...
Alex, you said it yourself. You were counting on us.
This here's my friend. So back off!
We're not done here! What is this? Damn swindle!
That was too close for comfort.
You can say that again.
Oi! What the spark were you playing at? I seriously thought you'd snuff it.
Hey, I trust you. I knew you'd make it in time. Probably.
What?
On what basis?
Well, I didn't exactly have time to ponder it.
You smug little clod.
Please don't frighten me like that.
But why? How can you do those things? You could have died.
Yes, but that's just Noah's way.
How have you survived this long if you're always so careless?
I'm telling you, we count on one another. That's how we've learned to do it. Perhaps I'm not explaining it right. But in any case, I think there's something rather elegant at the heart of it.
So that's what you call strategy? I swear, you Ouroboros must be the most peculiar people I've met.
Too peculiar to trust?
If you were, I'd have been long gone. Thank you for trusting me.
Right back at you. Let's get back to Valdi. He's probably getting worried.
Hey, welcome back, you guys. That was shocking news you sent. Didn't think I'd hear about Q again. I'm sorry about putting you through that.
Don't worry about it. We've gotten a lot out of the bargain as well, I assure you. And I'm sure Gambert has been absorbing it all like a sponge.
Dame Alex, about that. Respectfully, there's something I'd like to discuss, if you please.
You want to stay here, don't you?
How did you know?
The Nopon are staring. Well then, Valdi. What would you say if I proposed a temporary staff exchange? Gambert, for one of your mechanics?
Dame Alex. Really?
I think it would be intellectually stimulating for both our sides.
All right, sounds cool. Let me quickly talk to my buds.
Dame Alex, what's brought this on?
Pardon? Brought what on?
Never mind.
We got the okay. They say they'll move ASAP.
Very good. This should help foster better relations between our colonies.
What do you mean, better? We're already fast friends.
You're right. I misspoke.
Gambit, come on. Gotta introduce you to everyone.
Huh? What? Now? Hey, hang on!
Well, that's one thing taken care of.
Right. About that.
We won't tell anyone about what Q said.
I mean, it's not like you could get court-martialed for it at this point.
For the record, though, I can't say I approve of your methodology.
Indeed, if you try something like that again, well, we'll just have to stop you. And then we'll put our heads together to come up with a less bloody way. So no more agonizing alone, got it?
That's reassuring.
If that's how you really feel, then let us help you. That is, since we're friends now and all.
Thank you.
Sure. And thank you too.
Wow.
That was for saving me earlier? I hadn't had a chance to say it sooner.
You really didn't have to.
It would have eaten at me if I didn't.
I have to say, I thought you were more chill than that, Alexandria.
Aw, she's actually kind of a sweetheart, ain't she?
What? Are you making fun of me?
It's just a bit of friendly banter. You'll get used to it in no time.
So she's learned how to open up a little. Good for her.
I see some relations have changed. Looks like colony relations have changed. It's good to keep a record.
I'm here too, and I'll do my part. Yuzette, what happened?
Was standing 1 minute and then flop onto ground.
What?
You're overreacting, don't you think? I'm just exhausted, that's all.
You've been pushing yourself too hard.
Workload's pretty intense right now. I've got to do my part to keep the colony running.
Is it really that bad?
We used to get support based on how well the Levner squadrons performed in battle. The castle provided for us, so now we have to work like a mudder to make up the shortfall.
Why didn't you tell me?
Didn't think I needed to. I thought I could manage well enough by myself.
Now that stink of untruth. You said working hard for Valdi. Did not want sympathy vote.
Hey!
You said want to act dependable to get on good side of Valdi. Tried hard not to show weakness.
Is that true?
What does it matter? Fact is, I can't be lying down on the job.
Look, we get that you're under a lot of pressure. What is it that needs doing, anyhow?
Dispatching of Levnesses to Colony Lambda.
To Lambda?
So you're lending out Kavesi Levnesses to Agnes?
That's right. Even after they've served their purpose in battle, the Levnesses themselves can still function. I wanted to get as much use out of them as I could.
So he say. But now look at sorry state of him. Where Papa also been showing you that rogues as little side project.
Oh, you were teaching me?
Let me help. I'd love to. Come on. Give me a job to do.
Huh? Well, if you're asking, how about handling the Levnes shipment I was talking about? Once you get them there, it's just a matter of delivering them to the commander.
Sure thing. I can do that.
Incidentally, what need does Commander Izzard have with Kavesi Levnesses?
I'm not 100% on the details, but he wants them for some kind of survey.
Levnesses to scout something out. I wonder what's going on at Lambda.
No point speculating when we can just check it out ourselves. Right?
Right.
Be thorough, yeah? Oh, but, don't push it too hard.
Oh, we'll be fine. You just take a lie down and make sure you're all rested up. So then, off to Colony Lambda we go.
Looks like colony relations have changed.
Commander Izzard, right? We're here with the Levnesses you ordered.
I appreciate how readily you accepted our request. Thank you. But I must say, I hadn't expected you to deliver them in person, Commander.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had to improvise. Ah, you know how to operate them, right? Our guys normally do the piloting.
We've hired pilots for that very reason. Though, we wouldn't mind getting some pointers.
Oh, that's great. Our pilots have been wanting to chat with you too. Anything you need to know, just ask.
Glad to hear it.
Commander Izzard, I hear you're using the Levnesses for some sort of survey. Care to divulge?
Yes, about that. We've observed recently that our water sources around the colony are being rapidly depleted.
So you're using them to investigate?
No. In fact, the survey branch has already identified the cause. It's the Ansels living at the top of the Great Falls.
Ansels? But their natural habitat should be the Urian Mountains.
Indeed. And their presence here has been affecting the flora. We're particularly concerned about their laying waste to the cure grass we use to treat our troops.
That's an issue, all right.
So you want to take those overgrown feather brains out of the picture? That it?
Which is why you need powerful Levnesses.
You're looking a bit worse for wear there, Izzy. You been running yourself ragged too?
Too?
My lieutenant's also been burning himself out.
Noah?
We'll help you out too.
I appreciate the offer, but I think...
You underestimate this job, and you're going to collapse from overexertion too. Better to share the load, no? It'll make life easier.
Valdi's really worried about him.
Could be a nice little excursion. No one's gonna complain.
All right then, if it's no trouble. We'll have this issue sorted in no time flat with you on board.
Easy peasy. Just let us at it.
I look forward to this, Commander Valdi.
Hey, tell me something. Are you and Izzard pals, Tyler?
I wouldn't exactly say pals. The commander is more akin, perhaps, to your chief status.
The Ansells were sighted a bit further up, right?
That's right. There are skeeter nests around here as well. We should take care.
Wait, is that... Oh, they look strong. Is this who's been giving Izzard so much trouble?
Thanks for the support.
Enemy's broken away from me. Falcon, come here. I got something for you. Enemy's broken away from me. Enemy's broken away from me. Heal back.
Huh. That looks like them all.
They won't be tearing up the cure grass any longer. I hope that now... their fighting days are finally over.
Baldy, pleased to look. Such pretty, pretty flowers.
Oh, wow. But it's such a tiny patch of them.
You think those ants have got them or something?
No, those flowers are from the Urian Mountains. And they don't normally grow in this region.
Well, how then?
Maybe it's just as Uni said. Maybe the Ansells carried the seeds and they ended up here.
That's nuts. They probably had the seeds stuck in their feathers. And they just happened to land here.
Still, of all the places they could have bloomed.
It's just random chance, Uni. Not like they grew here on purpose. Only questions whether they make it.
They did choose. They chose to bloom up here. They never gave up. They're just like me. This world, it lives and breathes, just like me.
Happy revelation?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I never thought we'd be able to find a serious anemone here.
You look pretty pleased, Tyon. Make us a cuppa then.
I see it went well. We've already received your report.
About the Ansells' impact on the environment.
It's all good. Our survey branch will be monitoring the situation carefully.
Then how about we leave the Levnesses here? Could you give us an update if you happen to find out anything new?
You feeling okay there, Valdi? You sound like you're interested in something that's not a Levnis.
Oh, come on. They're adapting to their environment by themselves. It's such an amazing phenomenon. How could I possibly pass it up?
Ha, how indeed. The most feared mechanic in Kevis. So wide-eyed and innocent.
Huh?
Up until we met in person, I pictured you as a cold, ruthless commander who would stop at nothing to achieve victory.
That's the Colony 30 Consul's fault.
Yeah. Valdi himself's got nothing but Levnis on the brain.
Hey, that's mean. Well, perhaps you're right. I've been blindly sending Levnises to their destruction.
But you're only looking at one aspect of the whole. Aren't you furthering a large-scale project for a new model? I hear it's a type of Levnis designed for a wholly different purpose.
Huh? How'd you hear about that?
The survey branch has eyes and ears everywhere.
Oh, look at me and the fancy spy network I used to work for.
You're talking about Doric. He's my friend. When he's finished, you've got to come visit.
I believe I will. I look forward to be 30. I'd be happy to accept your assistance in the future.
Great, I can't wait. Good news all round, huh? Phew! Now I'm friends with Izzard. Yuzette has so got to hear about this.
Well then, let's not keep him waiting. Back to Colony 30.
Something smells tasty. I'm back!
Hey, you taking it easy now?
Yeah. You were gone for some time. It wasn't just a quick there and back.
Yeah, one thing led to another.
Sorry to butt in. Yuzette! The Nopod are in a real tizzy. Won't stop moaning about the lack of Levnite.
Oh, they finally gone and used it up.
Is it important?
It's an ore we use for Levnis maintenance. Tune them up with it and they're gliding like they're on ice.
We're already negotiating with Colony 4 to get us some of theirs. I, don't suppose you could try to smooth things over with the crew, just for the time being.
Oof. Well, I'll see what I can do.
Yuzette, you know that transmission we received earlier? Well, there's a problem. How much is this guy juggling?
There's not much point in him trying to recuperate here when he keeps getting pestered like this.
What? What do you mean? You can't arrange a shipment?
Ah, I wasn't privy to the details. All I know is that some guy called Solon from Colony 4 told us to tell you.
Hey, Noah.
I know what you're thinking. Let's take this to Colony 4.
Let's.
Looks like colony relations have changed.
What's going on in Colony 4 exactly?
Let's go to Solon and the supply team.
Something smells tasty.
These are not good tidings, especially when we're so swamped.
Excuse me, are you Solon?
Huh? Ah, yes. How may I help you?
I'm here about the Levnite shipment to Colony 30. I was told that you couldn't send it, and I was hoping to find out why.
Did you run into an issue?
Well, we sent some of our compeers to Dana Desert, but we haven't heard from them since. I can't exactly leave my post, so I was deliberating as to how we should proceed.
You said the desert, right? Anywhere in particular?
The richest Levnite veins can be found by a landmark known as Glamrock. So you might try there.
That seems like enough to go on, right?
We'll head out there to look for them. You do this?
We can't just ignore someone in need. And besides, we need to get our hands on that Levnite.
Well then, thank you very much. I hope to hear good news from you.
So their friends didn't return? That sounds kind of worrying.
We'd better go find them quick. Something smells... Smells tasty.
There they are!
We'll have this sorted out in a jiffy.
Let's rush them down.
Fine by me.
You're a lifesaver.
Keep piling on the damage.
Show us what you got, Senna. Unstoppable with you around, Senna. Are you all right?
Yes, thank you. You saved our skins. Never seen monsters like that before. They really caught us off guard. Yeah, it's weird that those monsters were there.
One would usually expect them to reside in their natural habitat, above the Great Cot Falls.
So they decide to move house?
This isn't walking distance we're talking here.
They'd have had to have migrated from their old territory. After what happened to those mountains, the Ansels must have tried to take shelter beneath the Great Falls.
I'll bet that's what pushed these guys out. And then they moseyed on over here to the desert.
Our squad leader just gave us an update. You're here to pick up the Levnite. If you want, we can just give it to you here. Saves you a trip back to Colony 4, right?
You sure? Well, thanks.
This'll at least take one thing off Yuzette's plate.
See? I can get things done when I put my mind to it.
We're done with the Levnite issue too. Back to Colony 30 then?
Hold up. That Levnis.
Hey, Commander. Good to see you back.
Hey, Zuza. This little buddy's the Levnis we lent Izzard, isn't it? Doesn't he want it anymore?
To thank us for your offer of cooperation with Colony Lambda, they've sent us a fair bit of supplies and food.
Wow! All this? I'll need to thank him a bunch.
Ah, Commander, there you are. Guess what? Colony 4 just approached us with a deal to receive regular shipments of Levnite from them.
What? What?
I'll head down the docks and tell everyone.
And just like that, it would appear that the bond between our respective colonies has been restored.
Nice one.
Huh?
He hasn't even realized, has he? Come on, man!
You brought everyone together, Valdi.
I did?
It's really quite amazing. Even though you're all doing different things, you help each other out in all sorts of different ways.
That's right. And when there's something missing, it always has a knock-on impact somewhere else. Sometimes you don't notice something's awry until after that effect has manifested itself.
Ah. You know, the world's kind of like a Levnis, isn't it? It's like a mesh of so many different parts, all interconnected. And because it's made up of all these different things and people, it moves. It's alive.
So then, Baldi and Manana are also belong to parts of world?
Not just us. My buddies here are too.
Not just some tools to be used, eh?
Right, they're not. I'm just reaching for ideas right now. But hey, I'm a mechanic. And if the world's like Alevnis, then I sure as Spark should be able to fix it. I'll make a new tomorrow, where we can all live in harmony.
Ambitious goal for Grease Monkey, but willing to keep on radar, with much giving of side-eye.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Was not compliment.
Well, I believe in you, mate. You're Kevis' #1 mechanic, after all. You can't argue with that.
Shucks.
Okay then, let's report in, shall we?
Looks like colony relations have changed.
Yuzette!
Shouldn't you be lying down?
Nah, I'm feeling way better. I'm not just putting on a brave face for you guys, okay? I'm not.
Uh-huh. All right. If you say so.
Thanks for always getting us out of trouble, Yuzette.
What? Where'd this come from?
Turns out this guy's actually more thoughtful than you give him credit for.
Thoughtful?
From now on, I'm helping you with your chores. So let's both do the best we can, and make some of the finest Levnesses the world has ever seen.
Sure, count on it. As if, over my dead body.
Huh?
If I trust you with anything, things are gonna get way out of hand. You just casually go and extend the leases on Levnis rentals. You plain give away the materials that we cracked down on after we caught those guys illegally hoarding. Every time you give a report, my blood runs cold. Think about how I feel trying to manage this stuff.
Right. Sorry. Still, I'm glad to see you're feeling well enough to give me a telling off like that.
Glad, but I'm seething with rage here.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, I guess none of this really sorted out Yuzette's workload problem, did it?
Yeah, I guess not. But maybe this is a good way for them to mesh in the end.
Maybe it is. Remember what Issa told us? That you can't just look at one aspect of the whole. I think that's how it is with Colony 30.
Gotta keep nice and limber.
I'll come with you, and we will build the future.
What do you plonkers want now?
Hey, come on. Don't be like that. We're just here to say hi.
Huh? What's that? You got time on your hands, have you? Huh? Why? If it isn't...
I believe this is the first time we speak directly, isn't it, Gondor?
Can someone tell me what the hell's going on? What's the Queen of Agnes doing here? Oh, hang on. I suppose we are in Agnes Castle right now. So, maybe it's not so weird to see you here. But what I don't get is, why does the Queen of Agnes seem to know about me?
That's... well, it's a long story. The Vandham name, and those that bear it, have a deep meaning for me.
You mean my family?
In the past, we were saved by a man called Vandham. He taught us a lot about life, and what it was we were called to do. It's no exaggeration to say that without him, there would be no me.
Huh? A real deep connection between Nia and Gondor's fan. Spooky.
The memories of it are all but lost now. These were events of the distant past.
Oh. More to the point. Seems you dags have gotten pretty used to chumming up with royalty, like it's no big thing.
Well, Nia asked us to treat her that way. Like another one of the gang.
Come on, Gondor. Surely you more than anyone wouldn't expect us to mince our words around Nia.
Wind your neck in, will ya? Nothing wrong with how I talk.
Oh, you're so bold and unabashed. I simply adore it.
I suppose I am.
I mean, you've passed through the conflict with the false queen, maintained order in the castle. There are a lot of things that came about because of your blood, sweat, and tears, Gondor.
Huh? Well, that's a real heck of a compliment. Too much for the likes of me, maybe, a match. All I reckon we really did was set a few boundaries to stop things going daft. I don't have a clue about your Agnian folks, though.
You're just being humble, Gondor. Please, there's no need for it. It's not easy to earn people's trust, to maintain the balance. And you do all that while still remaining natural, unadulterated Gondor.
Oi! I'm basically an adult. I'm almost... forget it.
Condor, you really soften up when you get a few kind words, don't you?
Huh? Who you calling soft?
I hope Agnes can count on your continued support.
I mean, what I'd really like to be saying right now is bite me. But since I got a real deal queen going to all the trouble of asking me, I guess I've got to at least consider the request a bit.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you, Gondor. As the nominal lady of Agnes Castle, I bestow upon you my sincere admiration for fulfilling the...
Hey! Whoa! Enough already! It's like you want to make me squirm.
There's our Gondor.
Just shut up, will you? We're done talking about me, all right? You Ouroboros assholes, mind your own beeswax, all right? I better not hear you've been holding the Queen back. You're a real goofy bunch, aren't you? Just being around you counts as a hazard.
Pot calling the kettle black much there, Gondor love?
I see some relations have changed.
got some useful intel out of that.
Ah, the scent of Sophronia. This takes me back.
Takes you back? You mean you know what this is?
Yes, of course. Sophronia trees used to grow in the world that I came from, you see.
Huh? For real? So that's where Sophronia trees come from. Who'd have guessed?
That's not all. What you call the Urian Mountains came from my world too.
Whoa, seriously? I always thought they were funny-shaped mountains.
I mean, now they're mountains. Back then, they weren't so picturesque.
Are there more places like this? Stuff that we don't know the true origin of?
Actually, yes. In fact, I dare say, pretty much everywhere you've seen till now.
Makes sense. If you hadn't been here, we'd have just walked right past like it was no big thing.
I suppose it's good for you all to know about how things were in the old world. Well, now you've got all this new perspective, why not have a look back at the path you already traced?
Looking back at where we came from. That could be a really valuable experience.
Yes. Please, give it some thought. The path that you're on now will lead you to the future that you've dreamed of. Those empty ruins.
Nia? Everything all right?
This place you call Mactha Wildwood. Do you know anything about all the ruins and things scattered around here?
No, to tell the truth.
I never paid them any mind, I guess. But now you mention them, they do seem pretty weird. Oh. Hey, is this also related to stuff from your old world, Nia?
That's a good guess, Senna. Not quite right, but you aren't far off.
Please, explain.
All right, I will. This is probably something you ought to know about. I told you before about Ionia. Well, what I'm about to talk about goes back much further into the past than that.
You mean when the worlds were one?
The people of that time had access to absolute power, using it to create and enjoy a flourishing civilization. But in the end, they started to fight each other for control over that very power. And because of that, the power became a calamity and ripped the world in two. What we're looking at now is the remnants of the destruction that humanity has wrought. So the true meaning of all this ruin is to stand as a monument to the history that created this world.
If you really think about it, we human beings are the cause of all of it.
I don't get it. Why fight till everything burns?
The answer is because they were afraid.
Afraid of what?
Afraid of ending. All life, all civilizations and cultures, everything comes to an end in time. Of course, humans are part of the world too. We can't escape that rule either. But people never stop looking for a way, even if it means going beyond the rules. Eternity. That's what they were searching for.
Eternity.
If the present moment carries on forever, then the end will never come. That's eternity. With that, the miserable decay that you're looking at now would never come to pass. I think you probably all know the rest of the story already. Why this world that we're in now is called Aionios, the realm of eternity.
Zed also wants eternity, just as the people did back then.
But, I mean, even though they were longing for eternity, to sacrifice so many lives to achieve it, it's not... It can't be right.
I agree. We might get hurt, and someday we'll be gone. But we have to keep moving forward in spite of all that. That's what it means to live, right, Nia?
Yes, exactly right. That must be clear to you all now. You should hold on to that vision of life. Cherish it as you go forward. Keep that in your heart so that you never repeat the mistakes of the past.
Your Majesty, there you are.
Please, it's Nia. You aren't used to it yet, are you?
I'm sorry, you're... Please forgive me, it's just...
I may have taken my teasing a step too far there.
I hope what I'm about to say doesn't come out the wrong way, but...
Yes?
It's just... You're our queen. We believed you were the one that gave us all life, and that we'd return to you in the end. You were like this awesome being high above. None of us could even dream of talking to you. And now you're just traveling along with us and chatting like it's an everyday thing. It's just really bizarre to me somehow. Like things have been switched around. It still feels a little strange.
Could it be that it just hasn't sunk in yet? I see. Well, it's the same for me.
What?
I'm sure I've told you this before, but please indulge me. While I was asleep in the Cloud Keep, I was getting information about what was happening in the world. So I knew long before that you were not M, but an independent being called Mio. But it was nothing more than information. I wanted to truly know you more than anyone else. But I couldn't touch you, couldn't make contact. I felt so close to you, but you were still this distant, far-off thing. It was so frustrating. But right now, you're so close, I can reach out and touch you, speak with you even. I never thought the day would come. It's a truly strange feeling.
It's the same for me.
Indeed. It's amazing, really, the way things worked out, don't you think?
For sure. If I hadn't become Ouroboros, I'd never have had the chance to meet you, Nia. Sometimes a small pebble starts the avalanche, which changes your whole future. Don't you think?
No, I don't think you can put it all down to chance.
Huh? What do you mean?
I think we met because we were supposed to, Mio. It was meant to be. Because, to me, you're...
Hey! Mio! Nia! We're heading out soon, guys. Get a move on or you'll get left behind.
Okay, we're coming! Shall we go join the others?
Sure. Let's do that. Mio?
Yes?
I'm really glad we got to talk like this.
Yeah, me too. Nia.
Let's make the most of our break, guys. I think we need to discuss this.
All right, on with our journey.
This is something decent, right?
That smarts. Ugh. That smarts. Let's use this. Huh? Is that...
Let's take our time. No need to rush.
A score! I mean, what good fortune?
I'll whack him good. You want to tussle? Oh, we come here! I got something for you! You're a lifesaver. Enemy's broken away from me. No level up! Come here! I got something for you! Enemy's broken away from me. Uni! This can't be happening! Oh, yeah!
You want some more?
Redeeming blue!
Everyone healed up? No complaints? I'm disappointed.
Enemy's broken away from me! Come here! I got something for you! Come here! I got something for you! Enemy's broken away from me!
Do it, Tyler. Don't kill me now, sorry. My optics free. Perfect.
Thanks to my stellar support skills.
You think you're all that, do ya?
Shield back! No
Way home!
Overboard!
I look up to you. Thanks.
I need you, Mio! Never surrender before we grind you into dust!
You want some more?
Ha! Falcon!
You what?
Falcon end! Go! It's power! We can do this!
I'll fit the burst. Hey! Freeze! Here we go then! I'm pulling out all the stuff.
Unison! Run! Going in! We're near our limit! I'm getting the hang of this. Wonder what's inside.
Nothing's getting past me.
That smarts. Is that...
You think you're all that, do ya?
Enemy reinforcements! That smarts! Here we go, guys!
Okay, let's go, Noah.
Shield back!
Mighty thing!
Faithful! Aurora!
Imperial
sword!
Way up!
Falcon!
More enemies! What they do?
Thanks!
Stay back! Are you okay? On my belt. Nice! That's how you pull off a win.
Yeah. See if we can keep this up.
Whoa! Got a rare doodah right here.
Hey, this one means business.
We've been spotted. Wonder what's inside.
What good fortune. Such a blue sky. Though the world changes, no matter what form it may take, the sky up there, it stays the same. Thank you. I'm grateful to all of you. It's kind of you to indulge me like this.
No, it's fine. Don't forget, asking you along was our idea.
I'm pleased you all became Ouroboros. I'm glad that you did.
Neo, what's gotten into you? Why are you saying this now?
When this battle is over, the stationary worlds will move once again. When the worlds were divided, they knew nothing of each other. In the end, they'll be strangers once again. Perfectly ignorant. As will we. Even so, I wanted to make a memory. The day when we part for good, it's coming. But still, I wanted us to share this moment. I wanted to feel that special connection, those ties that bind us together. Not just as your queen, but also as your friend.
Nia.
So just... thank you. In the end, it's up to you. My hope is invested in your future. You must defeat Zed and make a better world with your own hands.
Hey, that's not quite right.
Huh?
That better world. You'll be building it together with us, Nia.
You mean...
I mean, even if we do get separated, someday we'll see each other again. We want you with us, Nia, in that future. How could we not? We need you. Rather, please stay. Because the connection we share, Nia, that's something that can never be broken.
Mio. I mean, if that's the future that you want... No, let me try that again. That future, I'll share it with you. It's not just yours, it's our future we'll invest in. For that, we need this world to end. Until that time.
Yeah. We'll be by your side until then, Nia.